Hi everyone, or ni hao. Greetings from my home in Shanghai. I'm so excited today to share a story of how Lithuanian ketchup reached Chinese shelves. It took us a few years and a lot of effort, but most of all, it was personal belief and support and trust from Domas, maybe his personal experience in working on global brands, and just sheer determination to do what it takes, that in the end helped us to reach 500 supermarkets in China. Domas knew that the future of his business depends on exports, and so he approached me in 2018. I think most of my friends got very skeptical when I announced this new business opportunity. You know, it's a very traditional and conservative category. You know, the supply networks in China are not transparent. You know, the Chinese actually don't eat ketchup, right? But after talking to Domas, I thought I would give it a try. And here's why. When I first visited Daumantai, I was actually very inspired. I met some people working at the factory who have been there for over 25 years. Then I got to know that Domas himself is the son of one of the shareholders of the company. And after studying and gaining work experience overseas, he's now back to Lithuania and working to make a lasting change in the business environment of the country. Moreover, his brother acts as a food technologist in the factory, and the person responsible for the recipes has actually served as a personal chef to Her Excellency Dalia Grybauskaitė when she was hosting state-level dinners. So I think that's all for my introduction, and now I would like all of you to meet Domas. Hi, Domas. Thank you so much for agreeing to share your story. How are you?
Very good. Of course, the times are quite difficult at the moment because of the pandemic. But yeah, despite that, everything is quite well.
I think it is such an exclusive opportunity to have you to tell the story for us. And I'm really, really excited and thank you. So without further ado, maybe you can tell us a little bit what you're doing in China. How is it going? And I don't know, how do you feel about it?
I feel very opportunistic, you know. So China was always one of like a dreamland for our company. We invest a lot of time in there, and we always wanted to be there. So when I came to the company, one of my main target was to enter that market, and I was trying to do as much as possible to achieve that. At the moment, I'm glad that China is in a better position than when we started, because our first container landed in China almost the same month when the pandemic started. So, and at the moment, I think you can agree that now China is doing much better, and we can feel that on our sales. So, yeah, pretty good.
So, I think probably it was your personal determination to go to China and to be developing that market that actually made it happen. Do you feel that it would have been possible otherwise? I think you have faced many challenges and many interesting stories along the way.
Yeah, when I came to the company, I asked the export department how they're doing with China. And they said that nothing is happening there. And I said, why? They just explained that they were coming to the market to the exhibitions in China for more than 7 years. And after 7 years, they haven't achieved anything. So that's why I started thinking why we couldn't achieve anything at that point. So basically, we get used to it when we're working with European companies that we meet representatives in the trade shows or meetings or something like that, and we start working. In China, it's a little bit different because, first of all, you have to have a person dedicated to that market in China who can solve all your problems quickly if they appear, also represent you as a respectable company. Because I don't believe that it is really possible to make business in China via email. You have to do meetings, you have to meet face to face, because the culture thing it's a bit different. And for myself also was quite a big challenge to understand that cultural differences. Because myself, I was grown in the Western culture, where we can, chat on the phone or email and do the business like that. But yeah, when I understand these quite big differences, it became much easier to start thinking how to enter the market, what we need to do. So basically, when I took over the China project of the company, we needed like 2 years to start delivering goods. So I believe it is long time comparing with business doing with Western companies, European companies, but in China, I think it's quite quick.
Well, I think it's very easy to sell a random container, but to build a sustainable exports, that is a very different story, because I'm not sure if you would agree with me that the difference and the cultural difference is not really the language. It's just that the system works very differently. And I think what we learned together was that the most stable distribution network is the flexible channel, where people on the ground are working with one supermarket each, and this would be the most trustworthy distributor. So even Carrefour, they don't have a distributor for the whole of China. They choose local distributors for each of their supermarkets. So I think the whole structure of things is just very, very different, because it didn't develop in the same model as it developed vertically in the United States, which later was copied in other markets. Maybe you can have, I don't know, some insights about this?
Yes, exactly. So talking about the specifics, in China, not the language is the problem, as you said. I agree 100%. It's the culture thing and how they work. Of course, first of all, without a distributor in China, it's impossible to do anything without right distributor, because I think the main task in trade shows, you can find many distributors who can deliver pallet or container to China, and the business will be over because market is not prepared. So that's why we needed help to find the right distributor, and where LITAO and yourself helped us a lot to find the people who we trust and who can trust us, and most important, to trust the brand and its potential in China market, to see the potential, because quick money doesn't help to do the good business. As I said, we need sustainability. We need every month orders from our distributor. So the process of choosing the right distributor took a long time, I think. I think we met on a roadshow when we went to China. We met around 20 distributors, as I remember. We've been in 3 different cities. We saw different markets. We see different distributors, how they operate, and they all have their advantages and disadvantages. But after all these meetings, as I said to you on the first, I think at the end of the roadshow, I said, we've done much more in a week what we done in 7 years of working with China, because I met so many different businesses, and I started to see, all right, how I need to make business for them. So it was really long, I think 10 days, I remember, but it was so beneficial for us. And after that, we glad that we choose a distributor which suited our needs. And actually, it even, I think, over-delivered our biggest targets, what we had. So that was good.
Maybe you can share some numbers. So you now have an exclusive distributor, right?
Yeah.
And you have been supplying to China, maybe some, process and numbers, as much as you can share.
So we have exclusive distributor in China at the moment, which is based in Beijing, which covers most of the China at the moment. So we started working with them on 2020, beginning of 2020 January. Our first order was placed before that, but we delivered in January. And at the moment, we already have sold 6 containers to the market, worth around 150,000 euros of goods. So in 9 months, it's a really good number. Just in a starting market where we presented our brand, which nobody knew. We presented products which nobody used most of the time, you know. So, and we have projections for next year to double or even triple that amount. So we are really glad about these numbers, and we see big potential. And our distributor did a great work in the market.
I think that one of the key reasons why you were successful in the end was the patience, but also the willingness to adapt. And I know that you have developed 10 SKUs specifically for China market, collaborating with the distributor and following their orders. Is that right?
Yeah. So first of all, what I want to tell everybody that it looks like very easy to enter when we talk, you know, after everything we've done. But the patience, you have a huge patience with them, because sometimes you get some feedbacks which you don't even understand why they are there. So
maybe some example.
Even about the labels, for example, the label of the products, you give them the really nice picture. For example, I have the sauce here, so you have the picture of how to use the product, but you also have to write the instructions how to use it on the back. So it's so much explaining about the product to the consumer, which we don't understand quite well in the beginning, why we need that. And this is where it takes a lot of time, of course, and money. So about the SKUs, so when we started a conversation with our distributor, we gave them all our SKUs, what we produce. So it was around 100 different products which we sent to them to choose from, where we start. And as I remember now, what I said to them, we don't have even, none of the products are exactly the same what we sent to them. So we change some recipes. So we started with choosing some products which they like, but we need some tweaks which we needed to do. So recipes are changed. We send bottles, different size what we have now. So basically, when Wow Mama was developed in Lithuania, the bottles were quite much bigger than they are now. So we have to cut by half the size of the bottle, so that could be more attractive to the Chinese consumer. So so bottle changed, recipe changed, new labels, new design labels, which we worked really hard to find the nice, attractive way how to present it to the market. Caps are new, seals are new on the bottle, because also Chinese want to have everything perfectly. So I never worked with a client who with the market who needs so much adjustment and such a high needs as a China market. It looks like there's a thing when they say that from China everything comes and breaks after a week, you know. But what they want from importers to bring is the most highly rated products as possible can be.
Well, I think that European label, made in European Union, for them is the sign of the top quality. And so for me personally, it makes total sense to reduce the size of the bottles and then to sell it for a much bigger price. I'm not sure what is the difference in the shelf price for your products between China and Lithuania, do you know?
It's not huge, actually. It's not a huge difference. There is, of course, because there's a lot of costs included in that.
Right.
But interesting thing is that after we presented these bottles and designs to Chinese market, we actually looked at them and they look really good. And that's why we introduced them to the Lithuanian market as well. So, they
Nice.
pushed us quite a bit to get the best product we can do. And we benefit from that also. So in this year, in summer, we presented 4 new SKUs with the same bottle as in Chinese, really same tastes. So it was good benefit for us also.
Interesting. And I think probably the Lithuanian exporters and maybe the exporters from the Baltic states, they don't even know how to adapt or don't have the required diligence and attention to detail because they're mainly used to providing private label products. And
this
so
it was the same problem with us. That's why I'm saying that everyone who asks how to enter the Chinese market, first of all, you need to find the right partners because they will tell you how to adapt your product. Because previously to that, we always produced all export products in private label. But China, we wanted to make our own label because then we'll have all the control we need to grow the brand. We have control to change the products, to adapt them, etc. So, yeah, I agree with you that first of all, without the partner, without understanding of inside markets, it's impossible to enter the market unless it depends sometimes on the product. If the product is well used in China, for example, or a brand is really big in Europe or other places in the world, then it's a little bit different. But for us, as a small, comparing to a small company in Lithuania with non-known brand, we needed this insight information from yourself and our distributors, how to change everything, how to adapt, and how to please the Chinese customer.
Maybe you can show some of the products and show what the brand looks like, because I remember what you were saying is that the distributor was very, very pleased and very happy with the way the brand turned out to be, because it's easy to pronounce, it's easy to understand, it's a bit hip, but has the, premium feel to it. Mm-hmm. Without being too straightforward. It still remains very European. So maybe you can share more about what they wanted and what you needed to adjust.
Yeah, so just to tell you overall, we have 10 SKUs, which includes 4 different mayonnaises and 4 different salad dressings and 2 barbecue sauces. So this is one of the mayonnaise. So this is quite unique also in the Lithuanian market because this is a mango mayonnaise. It's mayonnaise with mangoes. So if you look at the label, we have brand new logo for Mama for China market, which for me looks a little bit similar to Chinese flag. It's out of red and white. So that's what we wanted to keep to attract the attention of Chinese customers. I think maybe we attract. So yeah, so we have really bright colors to attract the customer eye. We'll show you other ones. So, for example, we have mayonnaise, which is called sandwich spread. So it's for sandwiches. So we have to show that it comes on a bread. We have instructions over here how to use it, etc. Then also our most popular product is at the moment is Thousand Island sauce. So this is the main reason why it's so popular is because Chinese people know what is Thousand Island sauce and how to use it, but still we have to show the salads on the side, also to write the instructions over here. So this was a brand new bottle, brand new cap, brand new seal, which is easy peel also, which we have to adapt. So if you can say this 100% different product what we had in the beginning. So, yeah.
I think there are 2 interesting questions coming from that. I think one of the question is, I remember that the first step that we did together was hire the customs compliance agency, which analyzed the ingredients and the components of your mayonnaise.
Yeah.
And then according to the China standard, you found out that it is only qualified to be labeled as salad dressing. So basically, that insight itself allowed us to understand that the product, if you didn't have this insight, could have been stuck in the customs and would be confiscated or maybe even returned, or I don't know. So I'm wondering now, because I saw all your products are called mayonnaise, so are they compliant to the Chinese standard now? Did you need to recreate the whole formula?
Yeah, this is what I want to tell, that there was a lot of work before that.
Mm-hmm.
Even our distributor is really happy that now when we deliver the goods, there is no problem with the customs. It always goes really quickly, and they thank us that we prepared, and that's why I want to thank you, because you helped a lot to do that preparation. So after that compliance thing, we did tweak our products, so our recipes, because we had that problem with everything what was mayonnaise or salad dressing has to be called salad dressing. We didn't want that, so we had to change a little bit of the recipe, the instructions, etc. So that helped a lot to have different SKUs.
I think in China, if the labeling is incorrect and the Chinese consumer representatives find out, they can report that the brand is using the wrong label, and the brand will need to pay, I think, 5,000, which is 800 euros immediately to that consumer who is reporting. And then sometimes, because the distributors are so busy, they don't have the time to go into detail. So I always advocate for the brands to really take that into consideration, because you would never even think that what you're calling mayonnaise in Lithuania would be called salad dressing in China, just because of the fat percentage, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's when really all my mistakes that I've done in China for 11 years, it pays off. It's okay.
Exactly. Yeah, and but still, when we talk to our distributor who talks with his clients and customers, still mayonnaise is used as a salad sauce in China mostly. It's really hard, to educate the customer to try different ways, but we have prepared. Actually, we're doing still now. We're preparing videos with our products. We're filming Lithuanian chefs who are making Chinese dishes with our sauces, so that they can, try to use them in different ways. So it's a lot of small things which we need to do, especially as it is our own brand and our own future. So it's so many small things we need to add. It's not only just order, deliver, and forget about that. It's just all the small tweaks and perks we need to add to our products, so they could be more affordable for the customer.
So when I talk about this, I always give an example of some pickled vegetables that the Chinese use every morning for their breakfasts.
Yeah.
So if you bring this, and I think we had those vegetables in the hotel when we were traveling, but I also needed to teach you how to use it, right? So now we're bringing Lithuanian products and probably I will include a picture of how any kind of supermarket in Lithuania looks like. There are shelves and shelves full of Daumantai products. So what seems so everyday to us, actually in China is not everyday at all. And people are really having challenges to use that product correctly. So maybe you can share some interesting stories that you found when introducing the product, or were you able to introduce it properly because of the help?
So I remember quite well when the first time I arrived to China, when I was just starting to use to start thinking about exporting to China. I was in a hotel, I was in breakfast stand, and it was 3 sauces. It was actually Thousand Island sauce, was Caesar sauce, and some sauce I didn't understand at that point. But then I understand that they use these sauces quite often, even in the breakfast, because the hotel we stayed in was quite Chinese, most of the Chinese people in there. And I started looking at them, how they use it, and they were starting putting that on dumplings, on baos, and all that stuff. All right, I understand that it's quite interesting. There's a lot of opportunity in there. Also, with yourself, when we done the market research, we saw that the market of these products are growing and growing. I think, as I remember, around 10% every year, 10-15%, something like that. So
yeah, I remember the mayo almost doubled in 5 years. Yeah,
so. Exactly. And in Chinese, when it's double, it doubles by millions, not like
right.
When we see, for example, it doubles by 10 or 20 people, and actually, what is so different that in Lithuania, mayonnaise market is depreciating and going down at the moment. It's going down around 5 to 10% every year, which is quite big numbers. But this is in China, it's doubling most of the time. So it's so different how the people use these products. And I'm happy that in China it's getting everyday usage most of the time. People travel, especially Chinese travel, much more at this point, and they starting using these products, bringing the recipes from Europe or from US, and they're trying to use it in their kitchen.
Did you see any strange use? Because I remember when we were doing the research, we found out that actually mayo is used very often by mothers with children to make a quick lunch, right? Yeah. So this is just upcoming, and then they see it as trendy, easy, and premium lifestyle representing that kind of class. Maybe you saw something like that where your products were used as well, besides the dumpling?
Yeah, one of the stranger things what I saw, because we've been in the trade shows for a few times in China, and we always come with Lithuanian national stand, and there's different companies. So I remember one Chinese person took a cheesecake from the other company, and then came to us and dipped that cheesecake in our mayonnaise or something like that, and he liked it, So.
But actually, the best-selling mayo in China is sweet. It was developed by the Japanese, and it is a dressing for the fruit salad, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of the strange things that, as you said, it's using with fruits, for example. Mm-hmm. And one of our sauces, mayonnaise, what we presented also, we made it more sweet. Actually, all of them are sweeter than in Lithuanian market, for example.
Interesting. Yeah. Even now, Wow Mama sauces, all of them got sweeter. Interesting.
Yeah, because we adapted to the market leader, and mm-hmm. Even we are thinking maybe in the future, because that Japanese brand is using like a toothpaste, bottle or
package. Mm-hmm.
Package. So we're thinking if we're gonna increase in SKUs, we're gonna introduce also different packaging, more adapted to Chinese market.
Interesting. I think another thing that was interesting for me is to see, after all this time, some reflection or some feedback about our trip to Wuhan.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that trip very well, because first thing I remember that I came to a hotel that on the street behind my hotel was a tall building. Next morning I woke up and it was demolished. And I remember the trip to the market when we met lady, and I really remember the talk with you when I said, that lady looked like just a market lady who has selling fruits or whatever, and that she's struggling in her life and etc. And I asked you how much she makes in a year, and she actually makes more than us. So yeah, it was very interesting experience walking in the back alleys when she showed all the businesses, drinking tea with them and talking, and you understand that it's such a different world and how they do business and how they act with the money they have. I don't know where the money goes. I think it goes mostly to the children education and stuff like that, and they don't show that that they have a lot of money. And you can guess who's rich and who's not, and who's successful. And that business showed me really well. We went to her shop and she was selling candies and stuff like that, and she was making like 15 million a year.
Yeah, but I think the most unique point about that particular meeting was that this lady, I remember that her business, she called it as wholesale business.
Yeah.
But actually, the minimum order quantity was, I think, 50 euros, right?
Yeah.
So I remember all of us started laughing, but then when we realized that she's educating the market on how to use her products, and then her focus is the products that you can eat in one day or drink in one day.
Yeah. Fast-moving goods.
Right, like very fast-moving goods.
Yeah.
And so her whole focus is to train these people who came and bought something for 50 euros so that next year they come back and buy for 50,000. And that's her business. Yeah. So I remember she brought like everything in the warehouse. She could tell us the whole story about where it comes from, who's the best consumer. And then I remember specifically that whichever product you asked a question about, she managed to bring it to the tea room for us to taste.
Yeah.
So they're so observant.
Yeah, exactly. And that welcoming feeling what she brought to us when walking just through her warehouse, and I was just, because some of the products I had never seen, I was so interested just to take some, and she was okay, just take it, taste it, and
right.
It was very nice from her, and it was the most shocking experience in a good way to see how the business operates. You don't need fancy offices, you don't need fancy warehouses, you don't need hundreds and hundreds of people to make good business. You just need to love the product you sell, to know the background and to care about the product. The most important is just to care about the brand, the product, the people behind that product. I think it's most important to succeed in China as well. So,
wow, thank you so much for this insight, because that is definitely something that I'm so blessed to be sharing on the everyday basis. I think I have held something around 1,000 B2B meetings, and then this is the feedback I get almost every time, that people suddenly realize that being humble, being honest, and having a very straight, open approach will generate the best results, because this is just how the market works.
Exactly. So yeah, and I'm really happy the way we started business in China with yourself and then with our distributor, that we went everywhere as humble people who want just to start doing something nice and good in China. And we didn't talk about numbers, even I think after a year of conversation, how much we can make from that or how much we can win. We just wanted to enter the market, to learn something new, and I think it was a huge experience for yourself and us to just have all that, trip, and to see all the different things we did. So yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you very much. And I think it's really nice that you're coming to this point, which I started with. I think that this family culture in the company is very important to share when you come to China. And this allows you to really come from a very different perspective, not from the perspective of numbers, because you have the patience, you know how long it takes to trust the person, and I think that you're really willing to trust. So I think that was the key differentiating factor as compared to many, many other brands that come and fail.
Yeah, actually, for me, it was very difficult. I don't like to talk much about the family business, about sides.
Yeah.
And I remember you always pushing me to
Yes.
tell the story to Chinese people.
Yes.
Domas, you have to tell how the company started, how
Yes.
you started working in the company, how your
Yes,
brother
yes.
started working in the company, how everything grew, what you did. And I was just, why? I need to talk about business, not about my personal
Right.
stuff. But you were right. Storytelling and the connection between these businesses is most valued in China. And even I can tell a story when we went to see our head of distributor, the company owner of the distributor company, with me and our CEO, my dad. We went to the Beijing to see him face to face because our CEO wanted to meet him. And we went to him. We give the presents. We give the attention.
The present.
I think our meeting was we had like 2-hour meeting, and 1.5 hour we were talking just about family stuff, about the how the business started working for him, for us, and just at the end we just started talking about real things, what we need to do. So most of the time, what's so different in China, you have to make 90% of the talk about other things, but not business. And then 10% is only business, and then it will be okay.
Well, this is the culture that is called high context culture. So there is no personal and professional. So they judge your character, and if you pass their judgment, then they're interested to do business with you. And it's there like that for a reason, because we have a very strong legal system. We have a very strong social security system, but in China, this is still in development. So they can only rely on people they're trusting. And so unless you pass that trust.
I can tell also one small story about the trust. Because we've done all these small things to our distributor and small attention, not a lot of attention in small things. In our first delivery, we had a problem with our caps, which was screwed, but they was making a small dust outside the bottle, and we got that feedback from the market. So basically, what our partners in China told that if we didn't have this trust in each of us, after that problem, they would just stop working with us. And actually, but we apologized. We done all the effort to fix that. We fixed that problem, and the trust helped us to work together since today. So that's groundwork we did before helped us a lot in the future.
Yeah. I think that we covered most of what we wanted to cover today, and I just would like to ask, maybe you have any advice or suggestions for any brands, and here particularly I want to focus on brands, not private label, on what they should do or how they should start, or who should think about China in the Baltics or in the Scandinavian market.
So first of all, I think the main thing is if you want to go to the China market, you have to really want it. You have to just be patient, as we said, and I'm talking next level patient. It's a lot of interesting talks and nothing happening, but when it's happening, it really will happen. Next thing is, I think, is money. So it not comes really cheap to enter the Chinese market, especially if you're doing, as you said, with your own brand. You have to invest in that, and you have to invest quite a lot. But you can expect return in 2 years, something like that, if everything is going well. So I think, these patience, money, and huge attraction to China market. Don't expect just to, all right, I will enter and it will go really well. We needed to hire extra person who will just work on Chinese market, and this brand in China market will just do all the paperwork, do all this kind of stuff. So you need to be dedicated to this, but definitely it comes in huge return. and it comes in a huge success if you choose your partners wisely. So also one more thing is have a partner in there. Lina is one of the best, I think, for Lithuanians to do that. But yeah, a good partner, trusted partner, and good distributor in there also. So these are main things. Don't be caught up on short success. Go for a long term.
I'm thinking maybe there was something that changed for you as a person, because I think for me, having these trips together with you, it was such a bonding experience that it's once in a lifetime. You don't really get to experience these kind of differences and emotions in business often. So I'm not sure, how about you? Maybe you I don't know, if there was a shift or some change, how you see business or life.
Yeah, it definitely did. I learned quite a lot from you because, we spent it days and a lot of days days in airports, in trains, and we get tired really much. But it's really good when you are supported with the people who see the ending with yourself in the same way. They want to achieve the same things. For you can just do a job and forget about that. But still, now we're doing. I call you to consult if something happens. You also contact me if you need something. And when you surround yourself with the right people, it's really easy to achieve that target you have in front of you. So for me, what's changed is just to getting know the right people and to treat people much better. And of course, because I'm considering myself still a quite young person, I learned a lot of patience, which I need to help in my personal life as well, and help in business life as well.
Interesting. Well, for me personally, China was the place when I learned that there is more truth than one. So you can see things from very different perspectives, and all of them can be just as true to each individual person. And then I'm so blessed to have had a chance to share that experience with you as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think for the closing, what I will do is I would like to show a slide of the process we took together, which we discussed before. And so I would like to ask the audience if they have any more questions or they want to learn more details. They can follow the LinkedIn of Daumantai or of LITAO, or reach out. And I will be leaving the QR code of my WeChat for people who would like to reach out and have WeChat. And Domas, personally, I would like to thank you very much for becoming a friend and also a supporter. And I would really be so excited to welcome you in Shanghai when the borders open up again.
I would really like to come because I'm missing China already after 9 months not being there. So next time I'm there, I will definitely meet you. And thank you very much for inviting me to this event. And thank you very much for all the help you supported us. So thank you.